Hello, folks. This is Paramjit Singh. Thank you very much for once again stopping by for the Passing Cloud series of conversations. It has been a pleasure sharing these small and short videos with valuable subject matter, which many of you have enjoyed and given me really good feedback. Thank you for sticking by and thank you for giving me the feedback how to improve it. Today, in the context, I want to talk to you about the process of reflecting and contemplation. Now, we all have some way of reflecting about the things that happens to us, the things that should happen to us, or the things we don't want happen to us. And for that, reflecting about the process of decision making, reflecting about the choices we make, and how do we metabolize those choices, how do we integrate those choices into our life, can be an interesting way to dissect and do a kind of a post-mortem of all the choices we have made. Now, regardless of our process of reflecting, which each one of individuals have a particular way of going about, uh, one of the way I would like to suggest you to test drive, and again in the spirit of curiosity and reasonably non-judgmental attitude way, is that if you happen to reflect every day at the end of the day, because I have students who have a very a faithful routine, at the end of the day will write a journal or write what has happened to them, and maybe nitpick all the things that has happened and should not happen. Some of those things can be very useful as long as they are reflected upon properly with the intention to notice, observe, but not judge. Because once we start judging all the things we do every day, you will notice it becomes a very labor intensive process. Not only labor intensive, it can have its own psychological downside to it. Because then you take account of the day you have gone through, and then you begin to notice that these are the decisions I should have not made, these are the decisions I should have made. And then you can begin to go through the lane of what is criticizing yourself, and then can have a negative side effect on the way you think, and maybe on the sleep, the quality of the sleep you're going to have. So what I instead of doing that, let me invite you to consider that you can still do all those steps. You can still observe your day, you can still choose to reflect upon your day, and you can choose to acknowledge whatever has happened during the day, both good and bad, pleasant and unpleasant. But instead of judging it harshly and personalizing it in any particular way, to in the guise of learning from it, see if you can actually hold some of it, if not all, some of it in a non-judgmental space. And I say this in the context that there might be some things you may have to make a very clear judgment about. Things are which are very clear cut in the context that maybe it's a decision you have made which should not have been made. And if you're absolutely clear about that, you can make a judgment call about and then learn from it. But then for the most of the other thing, the things which are fuzzy, things we are not very clear about, things are which has happened in interaction with other people, interaction with the environment, other people, circumstances, which you cannot be 100% sure that you are wholly responsible for the decision that has been made. But that I would ask and invite you to consider holding those observations and acknowledgement in a non-judgmental space. By holding those things in that kind of non-judgmental space and stance will help you first acknowledge what has happened, second move away from personalizing it and taking it personally, and then setting the stage for excessive self-criticism, which can go in a very different rabbit hole once you begin that road. So whatever your choice of reflecting and whatever your choice of contemplation, invite yourself to be contemplative and reflective with a large slice of non judgmental space. It will help you develop a sense of clarity. Again, I would invite you to consider this as an experiment. And as I always say, you can be curious about it, you can test drive it and see if it works for you. if it works for you and give you a better sense of well-being and improve your psychological sense of self and give you clarity of thought and decision making, continue to do that. If it doesn't do that, maybe reflect upon and modify it in the way. And even after doing that, if it doesn't work, then drop it and get to another way that has worked. But it is worth test driving the idea of non-judgmental stance when you're reflecting upon your daily choices, because that small shift in the perception will do a great shift in your psychological and biological well-being. My invitation to you is test drive this and see where it takes you, and always from the standpoint of curiosity and reasonable non-judgmental attitude. So that's it for today. This is something I wanted to share with you. If you find this video useful, kindly share with others. If you have an experience of working with these things and you would like to share it, please kindly jump on in the comment section and leave it there. I would happily join you there. If you would like to give a feedback, a constructive criticism, I will doubly appreciate. Thank you once again for stopping by. I will see you again. Bye bye for now.
Please subscribe to the channel, like and share. Thank you.